Okay, then I'm predicting the Tennessee Titans record prediction. So looking at their roster, their offense for the Titans does not look that bad. I think they have decent skill position players with Pollard, Spears, and then their trio of wide receivers led by Hopkins. And their offensive line should be better, maybe better than last year since they drafted Latham and they signed Cushenberry. But I am not a fan of Will Levis, however. I know Will Levis has a really strong arm and he plays tough, but to me his accuracy sucks. He only had four more touchdowns after his first game, and I think he plays more athletic than he actually is. I don't see him as like a Josh Allen. I think he's like less athletic than him. Um, and I'm not really a fan of Callahan. I'm not sure what he brings to the table. He's too much of an unknown for me. I can see him getting like fired after 1 year. I'm just not really a big fan of their coach or their quarterback, which is the two most important positions. And looking at their defense, they still have some talent. I am slightly worried about their pass rush, even with Harold Landry and Simmons. Um, then their linebackers, their secondary should be decent as long as Awuzie can rebound. But they brought in L'Jarius Sneed, they brought in Diggs. Um, I'm just really, they have a lot of question marks. I'm concerned about how well their defense does with Vrabel gone now. So Titans, I'm just not, they have so many question marks right now, and I'm not a fan of Will Levis or their Callahan. So these predictions are not going to be very favorable, just putting it out there. But you have your first game versus the Chicago Bears. Both these, I think the Chicago Bears are probably one step ahead of the Titans. I think the Bears have a more talented team. Their trio of wide receivers, I think, will give a lot of trouble to the Titans defense. This one's going to be an interesting game. Caleb Williams' first game, I think the Bears with home field advantage will take the win. Their defense, I think, will shut down that Titans offense. I'm taking the Bears here. You have week 2 versus the Jets. I can definitely see the Titans getting an upset versus the Jets. Jets are kind of an unknown as well with a lot of new pieces. However, Jets have a very good defense. Like I said, I don't really like Will Levis. I think that Jets defense will do great against Pollard and everybody on that Titans offense. So I'm going to take the Jets for defensive alone. I'm going to take the Jets here. And you have them versus the Packers. Packers are a young team. With Vrabel gone, I don't really trust that Titans defense to slow down Jordan Love or like many of those Packers wide receivers. And that Packers defense should be all right. I think the Packers more well-rounded, more established. I'm going to take the Packers here. Then you have them versus the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. I just don't see the Titans last year upset the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. I don't see that happening again. Um, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle would be too much for those Titans quarterbacks, and that run game I think will be too much for that Titans linebackers. And Will Levis did play very good versus the Dolphins last time. I don't see it repeating. I'm gonna take the Dolphins here, especially with home field advantage. And you have Week 6 versus the Colts. These two teams play each other tough. I think they're gonna split, and with Titans coming off a bye, I think the Titans offense will do all right with those skill position players against a not great Colts defense. So I'm taking the Titans here. Then you have them versus the Bills. I like the Bills. I still think the Bills are going to be good, even though Milano got injured. I think the Bills' defense is still good, good enough to slow down Will Levis, and Josh Allen will run over those Titans linebackers. So I'm taking the Bills here. Then you have them versus the Lions. Lions are a Super Bowl contender team. Titans can potentially. Titans are like the trap game king. I think their team is good enough to upset some Super Bowl contenders, but not good enough to consistently win. However, I still see the Lions. I don't see them falling into many trap games. I think that run game will be too much for that Titans defense, and I think that Titans defense improves in their secondary. So I'm taking the Lions here. Then you have Week 9 versus the Patriots. Patriots are not good of a team. They just traded away Judon. Patriots defense is not horrible, but they're not. With Judon gone, I'm still questioning their defense, and that Patriots offense is absolutely horrible. Titans with home field advantage, they should get this win. Then you have them versus the Chargers. I said it before. I'm not a fan of the Chargers at all. Jim Harbaugh's, I think, run game, run system will cause problems for the Titans, and especially with Chargers home field advantage. But I don't trust that Chargers defense. I think Justin Herbert will struggle getting into that scheme. I'm taking the Titans here. Then you have them versus the Vikings. Similarly, I'm not a fan of the Vikings either. I know I got a lot of hate on that video, but I'm not a fan of the Vikings, especially with JJ out now. I think Sam Darnold was one of those quarterbacks that will struggle versus that Titans defense, and that Vikings offense, I don't think is that good. That Vikings defense, I think the Titans wide receivers can stretch out that Vikings secondary, so I'm taking the Titans here. Then you have week 12 versus Titans. The Texans. Titans do play the Texans tough, but I think the Texans improved a lot this year. They brought in Stephon Diggs. CJ Stroud should have a second year leap. D'Amico Ryan should do well versus that. Should improve that defense, so I'm taking the Texans here. Now, week 13 versus the Commanders. I think this one could be an interesting game. I trust that Commanders offense. Jaden Daniels has looked really good. I think his running ability will do well versus that Titans defense. That Commanders offense is not good, so I think this one's going to be a shootout. And I gotta take I think I like Jaden Daniels a lot, so I'm gonna take um, the Commanders here. Okay, then you have week 14 versus the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars and the Titans are gonna split this series. Jaguars, they are like playoff contenders, but I don't trust them too much. I think that Jaguars defense is sketchy. They look better, but I'm not sure about them. I think the Titans with Jeffrey Summer and Harold Landry can do wonders against that Jaguars O line. However, I think the Trevor Lawrence will get them this first win, so I'm taking the Jaguars in the first game. And you have Week 15 versus the Bengals. This one, everything points towards the Bengals. Bengals are a playoff contender. I think Joe Burrow is going to be good. However, I think this is an upset game for the Bengals, and I think the Titans will get the upset. Will Levis. I don't really trust that Bengals defense, and I think those skill position players on the Titans offense will get the job done. So I'm taking the Titans here. You have Week 16 versus the Colts. Like I said, I think they're gonna split, so I'm taking the Colts here. And you have Week 17 versus the Jaguars. Like I said earlier, I think they're also gonna split. And I had the Jaguars winning the first game, so I'm taking the Titans here. Then in your Week 18 versus the Houston Texans, I believe the Texans will probably need this game either for like a higher seed or a divisional win. So I think the Texans playing for their heart out. I think the Texans improved defense with D'Amico Ryans and second year jump from Derek Stingley, so I'm taking the Texans here. So ending at the Titans going 6-11, 2-4 in the division, 4-4 at home, and 2-7 away.